What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Showdown Breakdown Monday night doubleheader, gents. We got a big one tonight. Exciting. Let's say the starter, the appetizer. It's kind of the main event. Ravens at the Bucs, 50-pointer. Close game. Good stuff. And then capping it off, Chargers at the Cardinals, 44-point game, super tight. As a matter of fact, surprising Chargers favored in that one.
Yeah.
Little surprised. So, this is the Showdown Breakdown, but what we've decided to do here is focus primarily on the two-game slate, but we're going to do breakdowns for each game. But then when we're going to bring it all together, we're going to bring it all together in the context of a two-game primetime slate. So hopefully we cover everything. Is that fair?
Perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's fair. So strap in, sit down, put your seatbelt on. We're going to have some fun. We're going to break it all down. Bobbywow has the notes up for the Ravens-Bucs game. You got DFS Up North doing the notes for Chargers-Cardinals. Lots of plays. Joey Chestnut almost did happen. And you know what did happen yesterday, you guys?
I mean, he played good.
Wait, holla at your boy. That's what happened.
Yeah, boy, cheap ST.
A little mini max takedown for me. I want to talk a little bit about, you know what I'm going to do. I wanted to talk about how this lineup came together. You might be ripping on it like, Kev, what are you doing in the mini max? But the reality is it's the afternoon only. They used to have a $3 mini max. Now it's a 50-cent one.
I didn't know this was afternoon only. I thought this was full slate.
No, afternoon only mini max. Well, we took it down solo first place with one of the lowest scores. That score doesn't even win a showdown. A 142.
No.
Yeah, and the key to that slate was Ricky Pearsall, of course, and pairing up Purdy with anybody that wasn't Deebo Samuel and Ayuk. So that's how that one went down. Okay, little takedown for your boy,
Kev. What I mean, I've worked here for a long time, and what's the ST?
Chief ST is just like it's really just I'm not going to share that, but it's part of a
all right. I apologize.
Whoa!
I know it's part of a nickname.
Wow, we're getting deep fast.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't want to get too into that, but that was my rapper name. That was my rapper name.
Okay.
And it happens to rhyme with a lot of words, which helped for that being your rapper name back in the rap days.
Super turd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sup turd.
Yeah. Super turd. I mean, look what you've opened up. This is what I'm saying.
That was really what I was going.
You've opened this up, and now it's just going in a bad place, guys. I wanted to say one more thing before we break this thing down, guys. NBA starts tomorrow. Okay, and I've been telling you guys about the free money. This is not a promo. I'm just helping you out here. I don't have any deal with FanDuel at all. We do not partner with them. But just the same way that they've been giving away free money on these Sunday $3 and quarter game contests, and they've been doing it almost the whole season. And by free money, I mean overlay.
Yep.
They're doing it again. Holy shit. Okay. Opening night. Now, this is an expensive one. $9 per entry. $800,000. There are 80,000 entries. You do the math. 9 times 8, 72. So they are not only not taking a VIG, which is 150,000, but they added 80,000. That is 230,000 in extra prize money. I have not been able to lose money in these contests. And trust me, my lineups yesterday were not very good. I didn't have, my best finish was 2,500th place, and I did not lose money. DFS Up North.
I'm proud of you.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I have been a long time FanDuel hater. And like Bobby said earlier when we were off air, I think FanDuel's back, baby.
They're doing it. I want to reward them. I want to let them know. Thank you for this. Let's end. Now, you're not a $9 guy. There's a quarter game right here, and they're doing the same thing. $40,000, 140. I didn't do the math, but I promise you that if I multiply 25 cents times 140,000, it does not equal 40K. It's going to be lower. They're giving you free money. Don't ignore this. If you're going to max out, and you're any kind of math person, if you're a DFS Army subscriber, if you're a person who watches this video and we are about making money in DFS, if you're going to play NBA tomorrow, play this game.
Yeah.
Don't play anything else. Play the free money first. Use the domination station, make 150. it's almost guaranteed. I don't even think you could lose. I think you can't. I think it's impossible to lose. Now, that's not financial advice. Don't at me. Final note, if you wanted to be able to use DFS Army for this and to attack this using our optimizer, I mean, I got to tell you that NBA is the most difficult sport in terms of making projections, updating them to the second, and also having a full-time team that has to be in our Discord, updating everybody about news, all that shit. I really feel that DFS Army NBA and the way we communicate with our subscribers is beyond all recognition. It is unlike anything else. So you have one more day. VIP 50 is the code. It does 50% off your first month of VIP. It'll get you NFL and NBA together, plus MLB, plus hockey, plus every other sport that we carry, which is every sport in existence. So last chance, guys. You got a few hours left on this one. The NBA starts tomorrow. NBA 50. I know you've been watching this. You've been waiting. Your finger's on the button. You're ready to hit the button. I don't know. Should I do it? Should I do it? Do it now. Okay. Where are we? Okay, so back to it. Primetime NFL slate, gents. First game, Baltimore at the Bucs. Let's take a quick look here at, I busted out the power rankings because we might as well get all the info we can get here, right? Power rankings. Baltimore, Tampa. Can you see that on screen? Of course, the LA one you can't even see, and I'm not going to be, I'll have to make it smaller. But Baltimore, Tampa. Ready? 173 projected rushing yards for Baltimore, 300 projected passing. Baltimore offensive explosion, potentially. 300 yards is a lot, Bobbywow.
Yeah, kind of what we saw last week out of them.
Has Baltimore ever thrown for 300 yards in a game?
Last week.
All right, there it is. So they have done it once before. So we're expecting a massive offensive explosion from Baltimore. I would also say, even though it doesn't really show it here as much as it should, that you've been able to run the football, throw the football against Baltimore this season.
Yes,
they've been a little more. Let me just pull it up on this sheet here. Baltimore. Get their defensive statistics and passing -3. So they're pretty neutral defensively, but allowing 7 more yards per. It's nothing like great.
Trending in the wrong direction, though. That recently they've been atrocious.
Yeah, and they've been getting a little bit worse. So there we go. Pretty cool stuff. Also note that the FanDuel contest that I was just referencing that's not an NFL, that's an NBA. The NFL one is back for next week, though. I already checked it. So I see somebody in the comments. You can't. The top 50% get paid contest is not going to happen. I didn't see one for tonight. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so expect lots of offense in this matchup.
Yep.
Let's go to the matchups tool. Also redesign of this tool, guys. I don't know.
I've noticed yesterday. I noticed yesterday. It's super nice.
How much better is this tool? Like, this is what happens when you use something and like you figure out, oh, that's a weird thing about, like when you start using tools and you start to kind of find the quirks. This is what it is. So
you want to know what my favorite part is? Maybe is that I feel like aren't all the primetime games right on the first thing too? Yeah.
You need a refresh. Yeah. Kevin needs a refresh here, but it's beautiful.
Oh, do I need to refresh my page? Am I missing some info?
If your primetime games aren't up front.
No. Yeah, but no, they're here. So we're good. What I do have to do is make it smaller because the way I have the screen set up, it is not the easiest to see the name of the player. Uh-oh. You know what? I have an idea.
We got projections in the DS. You can.
Yeah, I just want to uncover that so people who are watching this can see it. That's just our stream here. That has nothing to do with the tool, but let me see if I can't clean that up here. Yeah. Well, either way. All right. I will do my best to talk us through what's going on the screen here as I see it's being blocked a little bit by.
Yep.
Actually, how about that? Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Man.
That's called what is it? IT department.
Like it.
Me clicking buttons. Okay, so let's get into this. Tampa. The big question mark with Tampa is what's going on with the running backs, right? So obviously Baker Mayfield's out there and you have 3 running backs healthy: Irving, White, Sean Tucker. Bobbywow, how do we make sense of that trio?
Yeah, I think there's 3 ways you can attack this thing. I think the first way, the way I'm attacking it is I'm not playing any of those guys. I think, we saw Todd Bowles speak about the backfield and say each of these guys is going to get some opportunities. We may ride the hot hand. We're getting that type of language from him. I think ultimately it's going to default to the way it was when everyone was healthy. We'll have essentially a split between White and Irving, and then Sean Tucker. I know he had a great week last week. Everyone's super excited about it. It was a blowout win against the Saints. I think Sean Tucker goes back to his RB3 role and maybe gets, a couple of touches depending on the game flow. So I think you got to take a stand at some point. Either don't play the running backs and push those exposures toward the passing game, which is what I'm doing. Or I think you can match the field if you don't like taking those risks. But all in all, like, this could easily be a backfield that none of the running backs end up in the optimal lineup.
Yeah, it seems like very fadeable. If you had to play one, like, that trio seems kind of fadeable.
If I had it in order, it's Bucky, Irving, Rashad White, and then Sean Tucker for me.
Yeah. If you imagine White is scoring 2 touchdowns tonight, he'd like match his career total number of touchdowns in one night.
Yeah, not that it says a whole lot, but I think, Irving is far and away the most likely to score a touchdown odds wise right now. So I think Irving's number 1 and White's 2.
You know what? We have that info.
We do?
Yeah. We got the props. We got the props projections right here. So hang on. This is the touchdown prop. Irving, yes. So to back up Bobbywow, what you just said, Irving 0.39 to score a touchdown. Rashad White 0.26.
Yeah, so nothing crazy, but again,
yeah,
that just goes to show Irving is more likely, and all 3 of them are not going to score a touchdown in most likely scenario.
Well, like it. Okay.
But Irving the most likely, which makes him probably the most interesting, I would say, of that trio. Now at wide receiver, Bobby, we all know about Mike Evans and Godwin. Last week we didn't play Evans. It's a bad matchup against the Saints defense. That's not this week, right? This week that all changes. He's back to his usual playableness. But that WR3 role for the Bucs is up in the air. Shepard seems to have taken it over from Jalen McMillan, but it was originally Trey Palmer who had it. And it's like McMillan got hurt. Palmer's been hurt. Shepard steps in. How do you see this playing out?
I think by the time the dust settles here, McMillan is the WR3 at the end of the day.
You think it's McMillan more than Shepard?
I do. Like Shepard, he I know he had a season high in snaps last week, had some targets, catches, but ultimately, I think when everything settles here, McMillan's the WR3, and I think that could happen as soon as tonight. Shepard's a veteran guy, but McMillan has the more talent, and I think there's an argument to them easing him into action last week. So I do think we see, at a minimum, closer to a split between those 2 guys, and McMillan's far and away the more talented option.
I'm leaning Shepard tonight a little bit more than McMillan. I'm leaning a smidge Shepard, but I think any one of these 3, including Trey Palmer, can be plucked up Ricky Pearsall style to win you the tournament at 50% randomization.
Someone's going off. This Bucs passing offense is prime for like a 4 touchdown game, 4 or 5 touchdowns. So I think one of those 3 guys is going to do it. I was more in showdown mode, I should say, to be honest. And McMillan to me is the highest upside of all 3 of those guys. So I like him in tournaments. But yeah, sure. Shepard, there's no doubt he saw the bulk of the work last week.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Shepard just a smidge because I think your argument is so true, but there's 2 sides to the coin. There's this idea that, hey, McMillan was the starter and then he got hurt and Shepard come in. But I kind of think that Shepard was brought in to be the guy, and it took him I don't know, though. It's really it's up in the air, but I just liked what I saw from Shepard last week.
All tournament options, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
All tournament options. Finally, on this team, there's really just Cade Otton. They don't run a second tight end out there.
Nope.
No real reason to mess with it, I don't think.
Yeah, their second tight end's hurt. Cade Otton's going to be on the field just about every snap. He struggled the first 2 weeks to get involved, but since then he's been consistently involved, and he scored a touchdown last week. Cade Otton, on the showdown slate, at least, is far and away the best value on the slate. And I think similarly here, he's got a decent enough floor to be considered in all formats to me, with some upside.
There's a lot of tight ends to choose from on this slate.
There's
not all good ones, but there are a lot good ones. If we look at the two game slate, especially, it is a lot. So let's scroll down to the Baltimore side of things, and it doesn't get super that much easier here, but especially a tight end. What the hell? But
yeah,
as far as the running backs go, Henry and Justice.
That's splitting 60-40 snap share, but Henry's getting all the touches at this point. I think Justice Hill had 2 touches last week. So barring like a blowout, or maybe if the Ravens fall way behind early for some reason, we could see a little bit more Hill. He's popped a couple times as a pass catcher, but if the game's competitive, and it looks like it will be, and even Ravens commanding a little bit, Henry is going to be the guy getting all the touches in the backfield. So he's the guy. The one knock on Henry is he's not catching any passes right now. He started the season off catching a couple passes a game, ended up catching a touchdown pass, and then over the last 3 weeks, he's got like 1 catch. So that's the DraftKings knock on Henry, is maybe that caps his upside enough to keep him out of the optimal lineup.
You want to see something interesting about Derrick Henry? And I think this is fascinating. Again, this is the DFS Army research station where we've recently added props projections, meaning we just took the props, used our formulas to turn them into a number, and then when you add them all up, you get a projection, and then you can compare it to traditional projections. And what I find interesting is J.K. Dobbins is projecting with a higher score than Derrick Henry using the system. Now, Henry is thousands more salary-wise, but Dobbins... So the only real difference that I'm seeing is Dobbins does project to catch a couple of passes. And then primarily, the touchdown prop for Derrick Henry is like slightly more than 1. So if Derrick Henry gets the second one, that's where he smashes. And that does coincide with Derrick Henry traditionally. Like he needs that second touchdown, but he has a great chance of getting it.
And he scored multiple touchdowns in half the games, 3 of 6 games this season. So capable of getting there, and 100-yard bonus as well.
Yeah. So neither are projecting with those things. So that's why the number is so close, because DK gets J.K. Dobbins gets a couple of receptions where Derrick Henry doesn't, but Derrick Henry has that pop-up side. So interesting. I have to think about how to bet those kind of situations. I think they're interesting, but for our purposes, it's just interesting because of how different the salaries are.
Right. Yep. Agreed.
All right. So wide receivers for Baltimore. Let me minus this. We can see more of them, but wide receivers for Baltimore. It's been Bateman and Flowers looking like, so Flowers and Bateman each at a 70% snap count.
Yep.
Last week, Aguilar came in at 47% as that third wide receiver. And then Isaiah Likely really is also functioning as a wide receiver, I think, at a 70% snap count. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think you can make the argument that Likely and Andrews are really the WR3 and WR4 for this team over Aguilar. So those guys, I think Likely has been more of the red zone target. He's more the guy when they get closer to the goal line, they're targeting him. Andrews seems to be, at least as of late, more involved as they're moving down the field, is kind of like the pass catcher. He's got the better props, receptions, and yardage wise, while Likely's a little bit better odds to score a touchdown. I got to say this. I think both guys are in play in tournaments, but I'm particularly intrigued by Mark Andrews tonight because he's looked like himself for the first time in a long time, the last 2 weeks in a row. Something different. He's playing with fire. I don't know if you saw him last game. He scored. He was hyped. It felt like Mark Andrews might be back. I know he's not playing a full complement of snaps compared to Likely, but maybe that Mark Andrews is turning a corner, and I want to be ahead of the curve on that one. So I do favor him a little bit over Likely here. But, yeah, both guys are involved.
Props are super similar here. You're right. It's just a smidge higher on Likely to score a touchdown, but it's like so close. Any one of them. And by the way, what you just said, the phenomenon of Likely more red zone, and that will switch on a dime. Like there's just no rhyme or reason to it. That will switch so fast your head's going to spin. Yeah. But I do think it's important to note that, those guys are like wide receivers. The WR345 roll though for Baltimore. What's the story with that?
It's Nelson Aguilar. Technically, is the WR3, and then from there, I don't even think anyone deserves to be listed. Aguilar is on the field. He's caught a pass in every game this season, but it's been only one pass. One game he had 2 catches. He's just not getting a ton of looks, not getting a ton of opportunities. Could he break one? Like he's more of a showdown, like breaks a long catch type of play to me than a main slate play here, the 2-gamer. But yeah, the touchdown equity is so consumed by Henry, Lamar, and the 2 tight ends that it's really hard when you get to wide receiver here to make a case for like true ceiling upside.
Right.
Zay Flowers has the big games, but they're never like that big.
Bateman is, in terms of points per dollar upside, I think he's firmly in play here at his price on DraftKings. But yeah, below, like Aguilar to me is virtually unplayable. And if you get down even further than that, no, thank you.
Yeah. I think Aguilar is the perfect, again, turd that it's going to pluck as that last piece. And we're going to be plucking through a lot of turds on this slate. When you see the numbers and how it comes together, you can't make a lineup without one of those in there. Sometimes you need 2. So especially
give me Bateman every time. Bateman's been far more consistent than people think, just because previous seasons have been hurt. He would go from like 0 targets to 6 and then back to 0 for a couple weeks. He's been relatively consistent in terms of his involvement. And again, he's a guy that can score. He's got 2 touchdowns to Zay's 1, and he can make the big play. So I like Bateman probably more than most tonight.
I mean, and he went to the University of Minnesota. So, I mean,
we'll find out how much most like in a minute as we go to the domination station and look at the ownership.
That's true.
So we'll know. And I also want to let everybody know who's watching this, that after this breakdown ends, after this public showdown breakdown ends, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to do a domination station 2-game slate setup. I'm going to be setting up it for myself. And so for DFS Army subscribers who are watching this in our Discord, I will post that link so you guys can follow along with me. There are some special settings that I like to use on 2-game slates that are different from others. And hey, I did just take down a 3-gamer yesterday, so might want to check it out and see how we did it. Right. So I'm going to do that right after this breakdown. I'm just going to post the link and create a little private stream here on YouTube where you guys can watch that. So for anybody who's interested, maybe you're not interested, I don't know. But if you are, that's what we do.
I have a question.
Yes.
Lineup wise, can you play Lamar and Derrick Henry and just soak up all those tutties and move on?
No.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's not working.
Yeah.
I think it works on FanDuel.
I have to really look at the pricing, but they're negatively correlated, and Lamar is so much more expensive than the other quarterbacks.
Sure. Yeah,
that's the problem. So I do think Lamar, if the pricing was all level between all of these players, or more level, yes. But from what I've looked at, it's difficult to play Lamar at all on the slate because he's so much more expensive than every other quarterback. And I don't know that you can combine that with Derrick Henry and make a lineup that doesn't just fill up with turds everywhere. I mean, I guess it could work, but you'd have to have
the only thing that gives me pause is just the fact that the running back position is so unsure everywhere else. Like there's a lot of uncertainty, even with James Conner, for example, who's a pay up option. I think that alone kind of leaves the door open to playing them together a little bit. So I wouldn't make a rule for it, but yeah,
I just keep finding myself on Derrick Henry and J.K. Dobbins and moving on.
I love those 2. I totally get it. But let's work our way through the whole thing. Let's not make stuff. We haven't even done. Let's talk
about the other game. I'm here, ready.
That's all. DFS Up North. Let's take me through it. So 2nd game starts a little later. We've got this Cardinals at the Chargers. Or wait. Who's at who?
Cardinals are at home.
Yeah, Chargers at the Cardinals. Super close game. Cardinals 1-point favorite in this one. So let's start with the Chargers offense. And, James Conner.
Chargers. Or Cardinals.
Charger. Hang on. Cardinals. Yeah, I can't do it with the C's. This is fucking me up. Let's start with the Cardinals offense. Okay. Arizona side. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm at the top group here. We've got James Conner, Trey Benson, and Amari DeMarcado as the trio of running backs that are getting used. I'm looking at the snap counts from last week. It was
Weird.
Connor 60%. And then they worked in a little bit of Trey Benson, a little bit of Amari.
Yeah, they like Benson. They're going to give him a couple of carries every game. The DeMarcado thing is weird, right? He led the team in targets last week with Trey McBride.
And snaps.
7 targets, but he never had more than 1 prior to the last week. So it's a bit of a weird situation there to sort out. My assumption is that we see just kind of back to what they've done all year, where Connor gets the 60 and the other two get, a few carries and touches here and there. But it's hard to ignore that. I mean, he had 7 targets, caught 5, I think 35 yards. So he was productive, right? Like it was
blowout related, do you think? Or was that just, that's just a thing that happens now?
I think it was a little bit of blowout related later in the game, but what was that?
I said they got smoked by the Packers last week, right? Was that that game?
They got pounded, right? So it was a little bit of blowout related, and they're trying to move the ball quickly, and DeMarcado got in, and I think he caught like 2 or 3 right in a row.
You know what I think? My take on what happened last week is, and I think this will continue here, is that Amari is their third down back. He practices the hurry up offense with the team. And they kind of went into hurry up offense, third down back, like at halftime. And so it wound up with him just getting an exorbitant number of, I don't expect, by the way, that's exactly what I would not expect to happen in this game.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. They're playing an opponent that's just not designed to blow you out. It's, the Chargers are slow and they keep it close. So I don't think that's going to happen here, but I would, so to bring it all back around, Amari DeMarcado, really a guy who's going to benefit, much like a Justice Hill in like a certain, when they're running certain packages from behind or hurry up. Like he's in the 2-minute drill, but he's also in the game when the team's down by 20.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So that's probably what happened with Amari. And I think with Trey Benson, while he's looked like he has legs and he's looked good when given the opportunities, it's just, he's still the backup, can't block, can't pass protect yet. And they like Connor more.
He needs an injury, right? He needs an injury to Connor.
When Connor gets hurt, it's going to be Trey Benson,
he's going to
not Amari DeMarcado getting the role.
Yep.
DeMarcado will hold the same role that he has now.
Right.
That's how I think it goes. Okay. Moving down here. So McBride, 93% snap count, and then they roll in Elijah Higgins and Tip Ryman on occasion with, when they want double tight ends, but they almost never get a target. Can I ignore these two?
Yeah, I think so. And McBride was interesting last week too, because obviously they got blown out. Harrison went out with the concussion. And it seemed like Kyler just every time was looking middle of the field, 5-10 yards to McBride and boom, 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 and that was the only way they were really able to move the ball. So McBride's volume was a little higher than it probably really will be every week going forward. But it was, interesting to sort of see that. But yeah, Higgins and Tip, whoever are not guys that I'm really interested in the 2-game or really even in the showdown either.
Garbaggio. Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back this week. He's healthy. He's fine.
Yep, he's good to go. He practiced full Friday, cleared concussion on Saturday. So he's good to go here. Michael Wilson's fine. Obviously, Greg Dortch, the interesting guy here now, is making his debut this week, is Zay Jones.
What do we think about Zay Jones making his debut?
Kind of intrigued, right? Like, I mean, you're a Zay Jones guy from when he was with the Jags. Like he
was almost a cheat code for me.
I know,
as my 4K turd that seemed to pay off frequently.
So he's intriguing. I kind of like him here. I mean, Murray's got the arm to get him the ball. We haven't talked about it yet, but the Chargers defense is going to be, no Joey Bosa likely. Their secondary, Asante Samuel, is going to be out. A couple of safeties potentially limited here. So we could get the Cards could get after it through the air here, and they play super fast.
This is such a tough one. This team and the whole wide receiver group. I mean, last week when Harrison got hurt, it was Xavier Weaver who came in and got the Marvin Harrison snaps. They just rolled him in that spot and said, just go deep. Like, they didn't throw to him, but there was like, go deep, be a distraction. So that was weird.
Zay's so awkwardly priced on DraftKings though. He's like up to 45. He's above Dortch, above Bateman, above Palmer.
Showdown too. I haven't looked at the 2-game on it, but yeah, he's priced up high.
Same price as Michael Wilson, essentially. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's an awkward one. But I think, again, if we're trying to win $1 million or take down a 100,000 entry contest, That's the turd that you got to pluck. And even if you're playing for, dude, weird shit happens. Like in a slate like this, especially if it was a showdown, even more so. But like in a slate like this, you could even play for Connor gets hurt, Benson comes in. Like you could play those kind of angles. Wide receivers get hurt all the time too. I can't stress it enough. Like what won the tournament yesterday was playing Pearsall.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It was like the third or the fourth guy. Somebody gets hurt, this guy steps up. So ownership leverage is more important than what the projection is. If you're trying to win these giant super contests, guys, it sucks. It's annoying that that's what it has to be like, in a sense that if you want it to be like thoughtful breakdowns of games is the only thing that matters. It's just not. Like you have to play the game theory of weird shit happens. And we need a weird shit happens shirt, Bobbywow. Weird shit happens. That's just like
Pearsall shot one time, doesn't play with a limp.
Yeah. That's weird enough on its own. By the way, Pearsall getting shot out in San Francisco. I mean, like, was there anything less surprising?
What did I see today?
If you're gonna wear a fancy chain in San Francisco, your chances
today that somebody said Ricky Pearsall was shot and came back before DJ Chark recovered from his groin injury.
I saw that one too. But no, what I was saying is, if you're wearing a fancy chain and walking around in San Francisco, it's like plus 150 that you're going to get shot. Like that, the odds of that are reasonably high. It's like, it's not a 1%er. It's reasonably high chances. All right, let's talk about, since you mentioned Palmer, let's talk about the Chargers side of this game.
I mean, I was going to fly out and play wide receiver for him this week.
Is anyone playing?
It wasn't looking great, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not 100% convinced that Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. I'm not.
Agreed. I'm with you.
I don't think he's not definitely bad, but
I don't think he's bad, right? But I don't think he's good. So with the guys this week for the Chargers, right? So you got Herbert, who hasn't had more than I think 14 points in a DK or on DK scoring in a game yet. Ladd McConkey should play, listed as questionable. He should be go. I think Quentin Johnston is a no-go. He's doubtful currently. Didn't practice all week. Then we've got who else? Josh Palmer should play. More of a deep threat than anything, not necessarily a possession type guy. The guy that's really intriguing on both sites because he's massively cheap is Simi Fehoko. The volume's there. He's playing a ton. He's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder and groin injury, but he practiced full on both days. And then you got maybe DJ Chark potentially playing here with a groin injury. I don't know if he's been ruled out yet.
That guy's groin injury goes back to the Jaguars days.
He practiced.
He practiced limited all week.
Oh, DJ Chark to ruin the slate.
DJ Chark to ruin the slate would be interesting.
That would be so annoying.
He's also the player that gets a screen pass on the first play of the game and gets re-injured. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that groin injury goes back to the Lions as well. Like it just followed him around. On all
Jaguars,
of his teams.
Right? Jaguars, even at the first, wasn't that where he was drafted? I don't even know
it was
anymore.
The Jaguars. He was on the Lions
for the Bears, did he? Just the Lions and the Jags?
Yeah, I don't think the Bears.
So let's just talk about Simi Fehoko for a second, because Simi Fehoko is one of those names that has popped up as a showdown winning turd before. I've heard the name before and I like it. Repeat turds are the best
like that
turds.
Call too.
Yep, I think he's probably their best. Or like he's one of the cheap guys that can play and like make things like Lamar work in your lineup.
What team was Simi Fehoko on? Was he on the Packers?
No, you're thinking of his brother.
Is it a different Fehoko?
Oh, interesting.
There's a couple, I think. Braden Fehoko, right? He's a nose tackle.
Fehoko played for the Cowboys his first season.
Simi Fehoko played for the Cowboys. That's what
Cowboy. Okay, all right. That name has come up before.
Yes, he was like the fourth.
Last week, just to be clear, this guy got worked into the lineup last week when Quentin Johnston got knocked out and was more involved than Palmer was. And Palmer was healthy and started that game. That's what a turd fucking Palmer is, right?
Yeah,
he was
Palmer's
out there.
NFL.
They were throwing it to Fehoko.
Fajoko's cousin. That's Braden Fajoko's cousin.
No, it was Simi. This guy has been a showdown turd that has been successful in the past. This player, not on this team, but it was this player. Yep. So I just remember the name. I just know it was true. All right, let's get to the. There's so much going on here at running back. J.K. Dobbins has dominated the touches. Last week, the coach talked about we want to get Kamani Vidal involved. He ends up getting a 24% snap count last week, couple carries, a target.
Took it to the house on that pass.
He did well. He had a target, scored. So I don't think that changes Vidal for this week. We should expect more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's again, this is like we were talking about earlier. It's very easy to just click J.K. Dobbins and Derrick Henry. You're not necessarily easy, but that's what your brain wants you to do. And guys like Vidal could score and get you, 10, 11 points, and that potentially gets it done just based on what the rest of the lineup looks like, right? So yeah, I think Vidal is fine. Haskins gets in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think J.K. Dobbins is going to smash here. I don't really see a scenario where he doesn't, just because of the volume, right? Like with Gus Edwards out last week, he had 25 carries. Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball. He knows, I think, that Justin Herbert is maybe not as good as everybody else thinks he is. So they're gonna pound the rock here against the Cardinals defense that really hasn't been great stopping the run either.
Yeah.
To me on DraftKings, Vidal is as good, if not better, of a play than anybody below J.K. Dobbins. All three Tampa running back.
Yeah. Okay. I like Vidal. I like Justice Hill too, but yeah, right.
Yeah, Justice Hill as well. That's a good point. I just think that there's a decent chance that Arizona, if Kyler Murray decides to be competent this week, it's kind of up in the air every week. But if he does, they could get out to an early lead and we could see a little bit more of Vidal.
I mean, I wrote in the notes that we've got about a week left with Murray. I think Call of Duty 6 comes out next week.
A week left where he's paying attention.
Right. Yeah. So then after that, then we can't play the cards anymore.
I'm going to give
last stand.
I'm going to give Murray a little bit of a pass. And I'm hard on Kyler Murray in general. A little pass. The offense that the Cardinals are running, the passing offense is very basic. I am not a fan of what I'm seeing. There's no motion. They're not doing nearly enough play action. They're just not. It's an uncreative passing offense, and I don't know why. Their rushing offense is really good, but the passing offense as a whole is just extremely uncreative, basic, and easy to decipher. And the only way they're making plays is, Murray kind of has to make the plays happen.
And he's got to make it happen himself.
They're not doing him any favor. I'm not saying he's a good player either. No. He does play Call of Duty.
He's capable. He's talented for sure. He is a good player, I think.
Bobbywow, have you ever gone up against against Kyler in COD?
I can't say that I have. I can't say that I have.
You're a COD man.
I do. I'm old now, but I used to. Yes, I do like Call of Duty. I think Kyler Murray gets a lot of crap, and a lot of it rightfully so too. But he is arguably one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league. Still,
he's electric.
If he was 3 inches taller,
he'd be good.
He'd be a baller.
Now, here's the thing. I think maybe the best value on the slate is on the Chargers, though.
Disley.
All
right, so let's talk about the tight end situation for the Chargers. You got Will Disley, Eric Tomlinson, and Stone Smart. Best name of all the tight ends, Stone.
Just play him because he did score a touchdown in a showdown maybe 2 years ago, I remember. But yeah, I like Disley a lot. He can catch the ball. He plays a ton. Like I said, there are not a lot of great receiving options in this offense right now. So big white boy Disley might go for 2 tutties. Remember when he did that a couple of years ago as like the TE3 for the Seahawks?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like right away in the game too. Like, who is this guy?
And like just for reference on DraftKings, we talked about Kamani Vidal, $4,400, Justice Hill, $4,800. He is like $2,800. Will Disley on DraftKings.
4,800 on FanDuel.
Crazy.
Very playable. Very much in play. Very playable. Not nothing super special, but very very playable in this matchup. 11% target share on the season. Spikes on occasion get a 15% target share. They throw it 30 times. You're talking 4 or 5 targets for min salary.
Yep.
That's totally fine. Is Will Dissly going to be chalk? That's what we're going to find out now.
Let's get to the Dom station.
Our next step is we're going to now look at this position by position and figure out what the hell is going on. Again, reminder for everybody that after this breakdown, I will do a domination station setup stream for DFS Army subscribers. Those of you who have access to these tools. I'm going to show you how to set it up for a 2-game slate. I will do that as I will post that link in my channel in the DFS Army Discord so that you guys can check it out. And if you want to build, we can build together because I got lineups to make. I've got shit to do. Like, I've been busy all day. I haven't made my lineups yet. So I got to get it done. With that being said, I'm going to pull up, I guess, the DraftKings side of it for now. And
while you're doing that, can I just make one claim here? And I'm probably going to get shot down for this. Right? But Trey McBride might be the most overrated fantasy tight end that we have seen in a long time.
Why overrated?
Because he's got no ceiling. His upside, where's his upside? Has he ever scored 20 fantasy points in a game?
Guy needs to score 18, a fucking 19? Touchdown, bro.
God, he's like, when he's up there, he's like a 16 points, 17 points, which is fine. But like, he's priced like Travis Kelce on these. I'm not sold. I'm not sold.
Wait.
Let's see what his ownership is.
Like Travis Kelce. You mean the same Travis Kelce who's averaging 3 fantasy points per game?
Okay.
Through 7?
Pick your poison. Whatever. George Kittle. He and George Kittle were the same price. Okay.
That is shots fired, man. I wish we were in a dynasty league where I can offer you a trade for your Trey McBride shares. I'd be throwing some offers your way right now.
I would never draft that clown in the first place.
Brutal. Bobby's always right, so I don't want to mess with that.
That's true.
Look at the ownerships. Look at the QB ownerships. DFS up north,
pretty flat.
50% on Lamar.
That's crazy.
I don't buy it. 50% on Lamar.
At 8K? Yeah.
I kind of buy it.
Baker and Mayfield, 18 and 15% respectively. And then all the way down to Herbie at 16.2. Right off the bat, guys. Hey, Lamar is not the easiest stack anyway, but you could stack him. It's not expensive. Whoever you're pairing him up with outside of, Flowers is going to be low cost, and it's probably likely or whatever. But my first thought based on this price, and this brings me back to something you said at the beginning, DFS up north.
Yes, sir.
You're going to pay, if you pay for Lamar and you pay for Derrick Henry, and remember, Henry only gets there at 8K if he scores twice or once in 150 yards, something like that. It's a tough path to get there at 8K, even in a small thing like this. And you pay Lamar, you can't afford anything else in that lineup. So this idea of playing Lamar and Derrick Henry together, I think, is dangerous.
Yeah, it's more so just the 2-game slate, the nature of it with the running back position. That's really the only reason it's somewhat sensible. Otherwise, you're right.
This is dangerous, especially a home game for Tampa. Now, I heard that Vita Vea might not play. He got the Q tag. Do we know if he's going to play?
He looked like he was leaning toward playing the last I saw, but no firm decision either way yet.
Let me tell you something. If you're Vita Vea and you know you're going up against D-Rock Puenry, you might be like, you know what? Sit this one out. That dude's huge.
Vita Vea is going to play.
Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, 18. It's interesting to me that Herbert is getting the same kind of love as Murray and Mayfield. If we look at their average fantasy points, it's not really close. Mayfield at 24, just as good as Lamar. Kyler Murray at a solid 18, solid yeoman-like 18. And then your boy Justin Herbert, Bobbywow, not even sure if he's good anymore because he's coming in with 11.4. Listen, the coach on this team does not want to sling it. He wants to run it and win. They're winning games. Good for them. But yeah,
they are winning games. And he's played some tougher defenses as well.
He has played some tougher
at Denver, Pittsburgh. I mean, Carolina at 13. What's the excuse for that one? And then against the Raiders, the 10. There's no excusing that. I'll excuse Denver. I'll excuse KC and Pittsburgh.
You know why it's excusable? Because we're talking about Simi Fehoko as a solid option on the Chargers as a wide receiver. Glad McConkey goes out every other play to tend to an injury, and it's just he doesn't have anyone to throw it to. It's tough.
Dude, I'm going to play so much Simi Fehoko. I'm going Fahokin crazy about this shit right now with that one.
I just want to call back to one thing quick. So we did see Derrick Henry in the 30s and Lamar at 25, 26 points. I think 3 times this season, at least in weeks 3 and 4. And that gets it done. Absolutely.
I don't doubt that they could both score well. I'm just not sure that if we math out both of these in the same lineup together, that, how much room there is left for, I mean, I guess with Simi Fehoko in there, you never know.
Well,
with Disley and Fehoko, we'll build it. But all right. So anyway, looking at the, I'm getting distracted here. Okay. Looking at the quarterbacks, do you guys see any discrepancy? Like, are you comfortable going 50% Lamar, 20 and 20 and 5? Like, what kind of mix do you guys think would be a more comfortable mix for this slate?
I'll probably be in the 35, 30 range.
That's what I was just going to say.
I like that you literally left Herbert off of that.
Yeah, literally left Herbert off.
And they equal 100. So that tells you what Bobbywow thinks of Herbie today. He's not playing him. Up north, what do you think?
I was going to say 33, 33, 33. So
exact even. Okay. So that is the fade the chalk approach that tends to win tournaments.
I'll have some shares of Justin at the expense of Lamar.
I honestly, I could see going like 40, 40, 20, like 40 Kyler, 40 Baker, 20 Lamar.
It's interesting that you have Kyler above Baker. For me, Baker would be above Kyler.
I mean, I got them both the same.
Okay. Oh, like 44. Yeah, I'm just saying
40,
like
40.
I think Lamar is the correct, most expensive guy.
Sure.
I think it's correct, but the salary is reflective of it. But I would have Baker second and then Kyler third for me on my list.
I can abort that. I just think Kyler has the price and path to a ceiling type of game here.
Yeah, but he never has that though. It never works out.
Like I said, he's got to get it done because
just legs can forgive a lot of sins more than Baker's.
They don't though. They never do. They just, where is it?
They can.
I know.
They can.
Got a 28.
They can.
Got a 25, and then
what is it? 83 rushing yards and a touchdown 2 weeks ago. That's not.
It happens every once in a while. He's got the. It's there. It's in there. It's in there.
Somewhere.
We have some new dead to me. I'll talk about those on the first look this week. Some new dead to me players for we always add the Will Levis. Now we're Danny Jones is entering the dead to me column.
I one thing on Baker. I especially on a 2-game slate, I like a Baker Mayfield with the Ravens D.
Oh yeah. I'm fine with that too.
I mean, we saw it with the Saints. He throws three interceptions.
That's right.
Keeps him in the game a little bit. Like if they run one back, he's got you know what I mean? Like I think that could be the nuts tonight.
Guys, I'm going to talk about some 79% owned situations, and I want to get your feelings on this J.K. Dobbins situation.
Okay.
So this is pure DFS right now. J.K. Dobbins, far and away, projects the best out of any player on the slate. Let's be very, very clear, including his prop projection is above Derrick Henry. He is far and away projecting the best player on this slate. He's going to be 79% owned, again, on a slate where there aren't that many running backs to choose from. We just don't have that many. The Bucs really don't have a guy, and that leaves just 3. I mean, it's just Henry, Dobbins, Connor, or backups. So J.K. Dobbins is projecting for 79% ownership. What amount of Dobbins are you comfortable with or fading on a 2-game to try to win the tournament, Bobbywow?
I will be at most 35% Dobbins exposure on the slate. I think that to me that's the leverage pivot that can help you take a tournament down.
That is
any DFS player with a pulse. You say Dobbins and he as the most effective, highest owned player on a slate. Flag should be going up right away. I don't care. I understand the projection. He's in a great spot. But if anyone's going to fail us as chalk, I mean, how about J.K. Dobbins?
I'm glad that Dixon Sider Great name.
Really? Besides,
I wonder if he knows. It's an unusual name. I wonder if Dixon Sider was referencing that. So this is what I was saying. We've seen that exact situation with Jordan Mason like 2 weeks ago, or I can't remember, where it was like an 80%er, the perfect, you cannot fail, this has to work spot. And it failed at 80%.
Yeah.
So be aware. And there you go. Kamani Vidal. Dobbins gets hurt. Vidal comes in, wins you the tournament. Could totally happen. But more so, what if it's just not J.K. Dobbins? He doesn't get a touchdown. He doesn't cross 100 yards. He catches one pass, puts up an 8, a 9, a perfectly normal game for a running back. And at 80% ownership, if you just didn't play him, you're going to win all the monies.
You know what's going to be rare? Like just surprisingly rare tonight is going to be Derrick Henry and James Conner at the 2 running back positions. I would say, that might be, there might be like maybe 15% of the lineups will have that combination, would be my guess. And those 2 guys could easily outscore anyone else and just be done with it.
Yeah.
What if you go Justin Herbert, Derrick Henry, James Conner? What percentage is that?
Oh man, that's good. You're entering the unique zone. I think
that's a little too unique there. I think for me.
And I know you'll talk about this as you build on the next show, Kev, coming up, but just think there's very specific ways and tangible ways you can build your lineups around these scenarios. Like, for example, if J.K. Dobbins, if I'm fading him, that means I'm probably going to have maybe Justin Herbert, probably Vindal, and probably a LAC pass catcher in there as well, because someone's going to be scoring touchdowns. And the same way with Derrick Henry. Like if Lamar's not my lineup, I'm going to have plenty of Derrick Henry to backfill that because they're going to be scoring points. So just make sure you take those kind of game scripts and flows into consideration as you build.
I see here Bucky Irving a little lower owned than Rashad White. Interesting. And I feel like we mentioned a couple of names already. So like potential running backs that could pop into that winning lineup. I would put, Irving is definitely in the group. Yeah. Justice Hill and Kamani Vidal. With Justice Hill and Kamani and actually Amari DeMarcado, those 3. And I would put them all in the exact same category of guys who are going to do well in a blowout. Especially, we already talked about that. That's what Hill and DeMarcado do. And with Vidal, I think it's actually a injury that would thrust him into the nuts. I'm going to be building in the build process that I do later. Actually, I'll show you how I do it on screen. But I'm going to be building lineups where I'm sure to have Vidal, but no Connor, as an example. Like I will make sure to not
Vidal,
have
but no Dobbins.
What did I say? Yeah, Vidal and no Dobbins. That's right. And then with Connor, it would be like a couple of Trey Benson with no Connor lineups.
Sure.
Like just making sure. And the reason is, and I get it, both could always smash together. That can happen. But I think what's more likely to happen, and what we talk about a lot on these, is the worst thing that happens is J.K. Dobbins gets hurt. And then you look at your lineups like, oh, yeah, I played 10% of the backup. And then you look and he's in all your they're all together and it ruins it. Like you don't have 10% of your lineups that are clean of that injury. They have it. And so it doesn't even help you. So you might as well extra leverage those non-Derrick Henry lineups by having more Justice Hill, or those Dobbins lineups with more Kamani Vidal. I think Dobbins is the whole slate right here. At 80% ownership, if he fails, it's going to just wipe out so much of the field, and he shouldn't fail. That's what's so crazy about it. Like he's rightfully 80%. He got 25 carries last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know how he fails the hardest? If Arizona jumps out to a big lead and just is dominating. It's not out of the realm of shit that could happen. I could see it.
There's plenty of paths to failure for Dobbins.
Yeah.
I'm willing to tip my cap. That's a spot I'm willing to get beat.
That's a good point.
JB Hughes is getting it, bro. You are getting it. No one wants to click the uncomfortable button. I know it because if we ever make a recommendation here, of a game theory play and it doesn't work, you guys show tons and tons of hate mail in the thing. Like, how dare you say not to play J.K. Dobbins? I didn't say not to play J.K. Dobbins. I said J.K. Dobbins is going to be 80% owned. And if he puts up 100 points and has the best game of his life, your lineups are not going to go any higher if you even have 100%. It's not going to affect how much money you're winning because everybody else is playing him. So it's just a free square that you either fade or you play. But him doing well will not help you. The only thing that can happen is him doing badly will hurt you if you go all in. So, but it doesn't help you if he's doing well. It just doesn't hurt you.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
I don't mean to like go off track here, but Brandon Ayuk torn ACL.
Yeah, he's done for the year. Yeah. Ricky Pearsall, pick him up. Pick him up in your leagues, guys. That's your guy for this week. That's your pickup.
Wow.
Don't spend all your fob on that. Okay. Wide receiver group. Chris Godwin, 61% owned, followed by Ladd McConkey of all people. I get it. He's cheap. There's not that many values. I mean, because what has he done? He's not even had a great game. I think he had one good game, but he's going to be the WR1 for his team. Zay Flowers, Harrison Jr., 30%. And then it's just like turds everywhere. Even DJ Chark projecting 16%. Really? Simi Feheko. Let's just make sure we smash the like button on him before we forget about him. You know what I mean? Get a little like going on. But look, they're all projecting 5s. It's pretty gross. So any thoughts on like Godwin versus Evans or any way to get any kind of leverage here, guys?
I think if you end up going the underweight on Dobbins route, it affords you the luxury of mixing all of these guys in, which I think is a luxury that you need to take advantage of on a slate like this. So to me, we'll all have our favorites. I like Bateman quite a bit. I like McMillan. I know Geek, you like, Simi, Josh Simi, whatever it might be. We'll have our favorites, but you can mix all these guys in, and that is a massive advantage. Again, is it risky? Absolutely. But this is where I want to be mixing guys in at the bottom of the wide receiver range. And I'm taking my shots on going underweight on Dobbins.
Yeah. What if you're right about this, but the underweight on Dobbins is the things that messes you up?
That's the risk you take, though, right? Like you gotta sort of play it out in your head.
You will see that when I set up the optimizer the way I did yesterday for that showdown, for that afternoon takedown, that even if you wanted to be 80% Dobbins, it will not happen. Like the way I'm going to set it up, it will simply not allow that kind of, that much of one player. So it's going to naturally spread it out.
Hedge at the book if you want. If you're scared about fade him on DFS, fade him and then hedge at the book.
I did that yesterday with Amari Cooper to score a touchdown because I pulled him out of some season-long lineups where I had an alternative. So I was like, because I'm probably going to be wrong by doing this. And of course, he scored. It was. Of course, he put the touchdown up.
Crazy.
Yeah. By the way, they're arguing. 512 Football Man has won. I don't know if it was 50K or 100K, but I've sent him swag. Cardi. He's absolutely gotten swag bags from DFS Army. Oh, yeah. He is in the Wall of Champions. So I'm just backing up whatever it is you guys are arguing about in there. That yes, this guy has definitely won massive tournaments. I don't remember the dollar amount.
He was talking about fading Mahomes at 89% in the showdown against the Raiders, and I want to say that Derek Carr balled out for 4 tutties that game.
Yes. Anytime you see these guys that are going to be 80% owned, and this goes across all sports. By the way, I'll just tell you, because you guys didn't play MMA this weekend, but there was a guy who was projecting 70% owned, was minus 500 to win, minus 400 to win inside the distance, gets his ass kicked and knocks out, 70% of the field in the first fight of the night. That you always have to fade that, even if it works. There's another guy on Twitter who made his whole sort of, the only reason people know who he is because he just shits on the chalk. Anybody plays the chalk, he's like, oh, all the donkeys played, and that's his whole shtick on Twitter. And that guy gets a ton of follow. People love it. And when the chalk goes off, he just starts making fun of the people who played him. Like, you guys are donkeys for playing the chalk, and you feel like you're right now, but you're stupid. And I will give that guy credit. He has definitely won big tournaments before. So that approach is correct. Mm-hmm. But it feels bad when you're doing it.
If your goal is to take down a tournament, that is the approach.
The right way to do it. All right. So some of the cheapies I like, I think Michael Wilson is really interesting. He's been sneakily good that people don't even, I mean, you were talking about Bateman. I think Michael Wilson is right up there. I don't mind if I had to fade McConkey for Wilson. I don't think these guys should be differently owned. I think they're the same. So if this guy's going to be 50 and the other guy's going to be 20, I'm certainly
we've been playing him on main slates, Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah, he's solid.
I will be under on this kind of ownership. I'll be under on this in favor of just playing these guys for cheaper. Not for any reason other than that is the correct way to.
I'm a Greg Dortch truther, but I don't know why. I just am.
I've loved Dortch for a while, but he has not been that great.
He hasn't done anything to get that love from me, but I am a Greg Dortch truther, so I'll have some of him.
Every position group is really interesting. Look at tight end. First of all, it could definitely be a double tight end week. Don't be scared to go tight end twice. That's the first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't be scared of that because double tight end wins these. I think when we did the testing of 2 game slates, it was something like at a 30% clip. It's a much higher clip where double tight end wins that it's so much higher than what you think. Yeah, I mean, Razzle's got it at 40% just in his thing, but he's talking about the women. He's not even talking about football. I don't even think Razzle plays NFL. He's talking about the ladies. I can't even get a smile out of you guys over.
Oh, sorry.
He's at a double tight end for the ladies.
God,
come on, man. I'm working to a difficult crowd here.
I mean, you're just gonna run out of time to run this domination setup.
I know.
Here shortly.
Holy shit!
I'm still stuck on. I'm going Fahoken crazy.
Yeah, I'm going Fahoken crazy. You're a tough crowd. There's so much going on at tight end, guys. McBride, the pay up option. I don't even think anybody's gonna play him. He's got 35%. It's gonna be hard to afford that shit.
Him.
No, Bobbywow, it's not easy to pay for that. No, actually, will because there's not that much in the 5K zone. I think McBride is fine and a perfectly good play. And then, but we need a cheap guy. And I feel like in my bones that one of Andrews or Likely is going to put up like a real man score.
I feel like Mark Andrews, it could be the night for him, but I don't have any objective back.
Give me your lean, man. I need your lean. Yeah. Give me your lean. Is it Andrews or
over Likely for me? It's Andrews over Likely.
I think so too.
You don't have a strong lean. Bobbywow strong lean would
Andrews
so much better.
Andrews over Likely. Absolutely.
Andrews over. Okay. Andrews over Likely. Bobbywow said it.
All right.
Okay, but don't remember me for that one. There's some other ones earlier that you.
What are we remembering you for?
I'm just kidding.
Is it the Charlie Kohler call? Could he get another touchdown this year?
No. Gosh, you don't pay down any further at tight end than those guys, please.
Likely, I mean,
it's Otten and Disley are so cheap. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Disley's a good play. I don't believe that DJ Chark is going to play. I keep asking me that. I don't have like a strong belief that he's going to play. This dude hasn't played in years. He's always hurt, and when he plays, he will get hurt. Fuck that guy. Fuck that. Fahako that guy.
But if you're not playing Dobbins as much, keep him in the player pool. Mix him in. Throw a couple percent. Doesn't hurt you.
McConkey, higher. I can't even read what this is saying. He's messing me up. So I'm going to stop reading that. And let's go to defense. Guys, very important note. When you're on a small slate like this, the defense matters little to nothing. Meaning, the defense that you choose should have zero effect on the offensive players that you're playing against them. Already, defense is not particularly negatively correlated with opposing offenses, as surprising as that sounds. We have done the research, but it's even less important on the 2-game slate because the limitations that you'll get by having a defense in there blocking all the players from a certain team from showing up in your lineups is just nothing good at all. So you want to allow players versus your defense, which is a option that we have on the domination station right here. It says 0 players versus defense. You would want to change that to 3 or 4 players versus a defense so that the defense choice doesn't fuck up your shit.
That's a very good call. Yes.
Yep.
All right. And the technical term for it is fucking up your shit. You don't want it to do that.
Fahoken up.
Yeah, you don't want to Fahaco it up your shit. So there you go. Now, with that being said, is there a defense that stands out here? Cardinals for cheap?
Cardinals are fine. I mean, I think all of them. You got to mix all of them in here.
Yeah.
If the Ravens maybe arguably have the highest upside just because they've got a couple playmakers, and Baker Mayfield is no stranger to turnovers. So, but honest to God, I don't have a preference. I really don't.
Up north, you got some clarity for defense?
I like the Chargers a little bit in that. I think that Murray can, obviously throw the ball away. He can take some sacks, things like that. But they're missing Bosa. They're missing Asante Samuel. Like they're in trouble.
I'd like them more if they had Bosa. I mean, they're
That's
not
what I'm
good.
saying. Like if they had their full backfield, or their defensive backs and things like that, they were healthy, then yes, I would love the Chargers here. But
they're actively not good without Bosa. Bosa is like the whole defense.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you need a reason to get excited also about the Cardinals, and can you play I mean, full ignore of what I just said. Yes. Do not.
No, that is a little bit more. That's a step further.
Yeah, I get
that's a fair question.
But understand, do not. Yeah, this person doesn't like the curse. Dude, we're in a gambling. This is a gambling show. You're already a fucked up person just for being here and listening. You're a gambler.
You had to throw the curse.
You're a sinner.
You had to throw the curse into that.
Yeah, they're a sinner. They're doing sinful activities. That's right. And if don't judge me once you're in the middle of sinful activities, sir. Absolutely not. Sinful.
You had to Fahokin swear there when you were calling him out too.
I will use Fahokin instead of the real word. Sinners out there, all of you. Goddamn sinners in here.
Oh,
yeah, I mean Ravens 34%, Chargers 32%. I think the Cardinals, just because they're low owned.
Yeah, I like the Cards here.
I'm telling you, they're all playable.
I might just go 30% max limit, or 35%, let it do its thing. I don't see anything exciting. And again, for the flex percentage, I will be doing a live stream. You can follow along with how I set up the Dom station for this. But for flex percentage, you don't want to limit that at all. I want to make sure I am getting tight ends in the flex on DraftKings, but also I would say on FanDuel.
Yeah,
even on FanDuel, I think FanDuel is the same thing. It's not that different today. I always prefer running backs in the flex on FanDuel, but I'm not going to force it 100%. There's just too many crappy plays that I could see a tight end outscoring Justice Hill or RB3 or something like that. You cannot force it all running backs. Anybody could score that, and a tight end can get it done too.
Yep.
If Vita Vea is in there, that's another thing.
He's going to play.
Maybe that slows down. Maybe that slows down Derrick Henry. Michael Wilson or Bateman? I would prefer Wilson to Bateman personally, but I think they're both two of the better pay down options.
Yep.
Is there anything that we still have to get to here? I will do a reminder.
Draw a lineup together quick.
What's that? Yeah, we'll do a quick lineup, sort of a baseline lineup. But I'm going to remind you guys again, one last time. If you want to get signed up at DFS Army, and NBA starts tomorrow, you're going to want access to the Domination Station, our Discord. You want the news breaks, all of that stuff, the updates, and of course, everything else we do here at DFS Army. If you're already subscribed as an NFL subscriber and you're like, oh, I don't want to have two, you don't have to do that. Hit us up in the Discord about doing upgrading to Core 4 or VIP, and we'll get that taken care of for you. Text in 0322 in the Discord, or hit up DFSupNORTH or B Clinks. Don't hit me up. I'm busy. But also, I'm busy. But also, if you want to check out VIP, promo code VIP50 is still active. That gets you 50% off a month of DFS Army VIP, Domination Station Optimizer, projections, all that we do. Research Station. You saw the little props thing. We constantly build and add to our tools. VIP50, that's monthly VIP for 50% off your first month. Go do it now. It's the same price as NFL, but you get everything, and we're doing it so you could check it out. Maybe you're gonna like. You want Razzle's plays and his stupidity in Discord? You'll get that.
You can have it all.
Just $49.99 a month.
But seriously, like if you're looking at the this is the Venn diagram all aligns right here. This time right now, where you've got college football, you've got
everything aligns.
You know how much work
baseball,
it is.
Hockey.
Let me just share this with people at home because you guys don't know.
NBA opening up tomorrow.
You know how much Fahokin work it is to come up with or to manage college football projections.
Oof.
When there's no standard authority that tells you when players are in or out. You have to dig through local newspapers to get injury reports. It's a Fahoken hassle. It's a Fahoken pile of work. Okay, it comes with VIP. That's why we have to charge for this. It is very difficult to play college football, but actually in DFS Army, it's not. It's really good. And if I could show you the Fahoken screenshots of people in the NHL channel right now, it's been crazy. I don't even know what they're doing. They're like over there using players they can't even pronounce the names and just crushing it in hockey. So, all right. Sorry. Let's build a lineup.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Andy K knows. They have been, by the way. People who don't even know hockey. I see screenshots. I have guys DMing me. They're like, dude, I don't even know anything about hockey. I'm just following the notes. And I'm like, what are you guys doing over there in the hockey channel? The goons. We call them the hockey goons. If you're an NHL DFS person, why wouldn't you want to be a part of the goons? The goon squad. Hockey goons. No one has all their teeth. DFSupNORTH got a fake tooth in there, too. He doesn't talk about it. You got a fake one in there.
I just got a one. I took a stick here once.
None of them come out. You can't.
No, I haven't
pluck one out. Then you're not a true. That's because you're not a true hockey player.
Just a chip.
Oh, that's weak.
I could see him with a fake tooth that you could doubles as like a ice fishing hole cutter.
Take How funny would it have been if I would have just said that now and he's like, how'd you know? And just pulled one out. I was like, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life. That would have been up there with the greatest things that ever happened. I wish it
flapper. That's what they call him.
Let's make a Baker Mayfield lineup because I feel like Lamar is just so cheesy.
Yeah, let's
can we do just one with Lamar and Henry, just like maximize salary up front, just to see where we're at.
So you're playing Lamar, you're playing Henry, you're playing JK, right?
Full screen here.
You want to get Godwin in there? I got 4K left.
Okay, so you go
it's Lamar. I got to play one of the tight ends.
So you go Disley and Otten.
No, Disley and Andrews.
I got to play Andrews with Lamar, so I can go Disley.
Oh, that's right. You got Andrews in there.
I could play Disley here in the flex.
So now put the Cards D in.
Fine. Cardinals 5,400. You know what?
That ain't bad.
No, not bad at all.
You put Fehoko in there.
Bateman.
Now we can get another stud. I mean, you could play Harrison.
Anybody?
Jr.
Evans, Harrison Jr.
I mean, I wouldn't play Evans in this, but like, yeah, you can play Harris. All right.
So play Flowers, wouldn't you?
There is a version you can do this.
Yeah,
that's why it's more likely than it normally would be because it's just gross. Yeah.
No, you can totally make a lineup with Lamar and Derek and J.K. Dobbins and even Godwin, and it doesn't look that bad. And even if so it took double tight end and a Fehoko to make it work. But let's say I didn't want to use Marvin Harris Turd Jr., which he is right now, right? Like, listen, he'll be good later, but he's not been very good. I think he'll be good, but you could just do something different. I don't even need a Fehoko in there to make it work. Like, so there are other ways.
Whatever guy said that like 56 minutes ago, like pretty smart.
What did they say 56 minutes ago?
That said Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry together, maybe?
Guy?
I don't.
Yeah. You know what? It does work. I'm not going to disallow it. You can make it happen, especially if you've got a Simi in there or one of these 3K kind of turds, and you don't mind playing a Disley type second.
Yeah,
I can even get to Otten in there. I don't even have to go all the way down to Disley.
No, you don't.
We can get to Otten, who's a little bit better.
Yes, Otten's better play than Disley.
Yeah, it's like a little better than Disley. And then again, we could go semi, and then semi-stud. Or we could probably kind of get a double pretty good situation going, like a Bateman who works with Lamar and 5,800. No.
It's a lot of pass catchers too.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd have to work it a little longer here, but you get the idea. It does work. It does work with Lamar. Can people even see it? I have to keep working the size of my screen for the video. It really now you can see it, right? You couldn't really see it before. But we're going to end it there, guys. That's going to do it for the Showdown Breakdown. Prime time, double game. Hit me if you guys are DFS Army subs. If you jump into Discord, I'm going to jump into a live stream for the subscribers to show how I'm setting up the optimizer. So come jump in, hang out, gonna get a drink, little seltzer. I'm talking for an hour straight. But if you guys have enjoyed this breakdown, Those of you who are not in the Discord, we'd appreciate a like, a subscribe, and notification bell. Of course, we got all our content coming out all throughout the week. Hopefully you're having fun. What we try to do here is we try to talk some DFS. We try to be serious about the plays and our approach, but also have a little bit of fun with it. If that's offensive to you, that we have a little bit of fun and we have some laughs on this show, we maybe wear a turd hat once in a while or get silly, then this ain't the place for you. We're trying to have fun. We're trying to, we're Miami Gone Wild. You didn't enjoy that sequence. You probably shouldn't be watching these. If you did enjoy it, get in my DMs and show me your tutties, ladies.
Oh my.
Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. I took it too far. I can't stand fun. No, sir. Can't laugh. It's serious. We're serious gamblers. You're a fucking gambler, bro. You're worried about swearing words? What? You're fucking... I don't even know how to deal with that. So I'm just going to let it go and meet me in the channel. We'll do a live stream. Guys, any final thoughts?
Don't be scared to get crazy.
Don't be scared to get crazy. Yep.
Don't be scared.
Fade the chalk.
Be stupid.
Yep.
There we go. Can we make a t-shirt like, I don't give a Fajoko?
If he's in the nuts tonight, yes, we have to.
Yes.
All
right. I don't give a Fajoko. That's our next t-shirt, guys. Swag store. So I don't even have a link for it. All right. That's going to do it, guys. We'll see you next time. Good luck. And we will hopefully cash those tickets.